Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pre-Market Podcast for today, Monday, 29th of September 2025. This is not a financial or training advice. Please do your due diligence before investing. That's really important. How are you this week, and how's work, and how was markets and trading and your finance for last week? So let's quickly look into the activities of last week, of the previous week, before we talk about all that we need to quickly look through before the market starts by 10. So on Monday last week, the week began on a bearish tone with the all-share index slipping by 0.29% to close at 141,845. And despite that drop, the trading activity also improved. It improved with the number of deals and the volume of trade also. And if you remember that Monday, Royal X, Cornest, and Champs were top gainers, while Mark Nichols and Ikeja Hotels led the losers corner. And on Tuesday, which is 23rd last week, the bearish run extended as the all-share index shed another 0.24%. The number of deals fell on Tuesday, but the turnover surged up and the volume also increased, while Thomas Wyatt, Chelaram, and RT Briscoe topped the gainers. Dangote Sugars, Wema Bank, and Access Corp way down the market. And on Wednesday, there was also a downward trend, which deepened on Wednesday with the ASI dropping 0.40% on Wednesday. Volumes and turnover. The number of deals declined, but the volumes also, declined, and turnover also declined on Wednesday. While on Thursday, the index slipped further by 0.15% and closed at 140,716.10 deals. Deals declined modestly by 5.98%. And that Thursday, Mercure, Owando, and Mark Nichols topped the gainers list, while Etana and Fidzin dragged sentiments. So when you look at it, the NGX actually lost ground for most of the week last week, closing lower than where it started. So if we look at our pre-market live podcast for today, our markets are closing for Friday on the 26th. The NGX all-share index, it advanced by 441.39 points, which is about 0.31% to close at 141,157.49. But the number of deals increased by 9.57%, signaling improved trading activity. However, the breadth of the market declined sharply by 90.53. When you compare the markets on Friday and on Thursday, you can see that huge gap, that huge difference. And even the turnover on Friday also plunged by 95.71%, indicating a significant contraction in both volume and value of transactions, despite the uptick in the index, despite the advanced number of points that we saw earlier on that market day. So when you look at the snapshot, on Friday, we had 141,157.49 as the all-share index, and the number of deals was 22,332. And you can look at the volume that was traded, which is 518,634,210, as compared to the volume that was traded on Thursday, last week Thursday, which is 5.475 billion. And the market's turnover on Thursday, when you compare it with Friday, the gap is really huge. That was a really huge gap when you look at it. So the top gainers on Friday were Thomas Wyatt, which closed at 3.3, gaining a huge 10%. Unicell closed at 33.6, indicating a 9.98% increase. TIP also closed at 13.22, indicating a 9.98 gain. At number 3 of the top gainers on Friday. FTN Cocoa closed at 5 naira 96 kobo, indicating a 9.96% change. And lastly is Omatech, which closed at 1.14, indicating a 8.57% gain. And when you look at the top losers for Friday, we have Fidelity Bank closed at 18.45, lost 10% on Friday. Custodian is number 2, lost 8.9% and closed at 44 naira. QTix is number 3, closed at 3 naira 20 kobo. That's losing 8.31%, and DA Communications are closed at 1 naira 6 kobo. Union Daikon also made the number 5 spots in that list, closed at 9 naira. So those are top losers and top gainers for Friday. And what do we expect in market performance this week? So our index is projected to trade around the 142,000 at market open, likely testing the 142,500 resistance if momentum persists. Sector rotation remains visible with previous gains led by banking, industrials, and select consumer stocks, while momentum stocks such as TIP, UACN, Zenith Bank, and other financial names may continue to attract buy interest due to strong recent performance, dividends, and other business good reports out there, and anticipated third quarter performance report that investors are expecting soon. So some of these stocks will be driving upwards this week. And then we'll look at the sectoral and key stock focus. We are looking at banking. It's expected to maintain gains from Friday, driven by liquidity, inflows, and bullish sentiments on rate cuts. Industrials and growth. Mid and large capitalized industrials could see further accumulation as capex optimism builds, while on consumer goods, likely mixed performance with attention on defensive dividend paying stock. And we'll look at the pre-open signals and risk for today, for today's market before before we start trading. So profit taking may increase as we've seen recently and through last week also, that several investors are dumping their stocks to take profit from their investment. So especially on recent outperformance, potentially leading to intraday volatility or pullbacks. Investors should monitor developments in macro policy and currency markets, as the recent rally could be susceptible to corrections if macro or policy signals change. So still, once again, this is not a financial advice, and please do your due diligence before investing or in any stock. Okay, so our Monday's opening for today is set to continue the positive momentum seen in the previous session, with bulls likely to challenge previous resistance level. However, selective buying and profit taking may produce a mixed tape as the session develops, and the near-term trends remain net positive, barring any major macro surprises. So it's just good to stick with stocks that have really not been driven maybe upwards recently, as they may be prone to uh, to to profit taking by the investors who are ready to take their profit from what they've invested in those stocks. So that's also one of the reasons why you have to do your due diligence. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel to get more of this podcast, as we'll also be talking about the activities of today's markets tomorrow before markets open. Thank you.